This is CBC Vancouver News.
When people start to lose trust on institutions, and then what happens is people start to take laws in their own hands.
A rally in Surrey against the unrelenting wave of extortions.
These extortion cases are now hitting a much wider range of people.
And a call from the community to say enough is enough. Plus,
confused and shocked that her last hours were allowed to go ahead like that.
families call for policy change as some hospitals transfer patients to other hospitals for medical assistance in dying. And
oh, it just brings back all the feelings that, myself and other merchants on Cambie Street experienced.
What are the kind of mitigating policies and responses?
reflecting on lessons not learned as a new swath of Broadway businesses braced for months of subway construction.
Good evening. I'm Tanya Fletcher. Thanks for joining us. Dozens rallied in Surrey today calling for more action to combat the wave of extortion, threats and violence. And some want laws now that would allow them to better defend themselves. Our Caribou has our top story tonight.
A show of unity against fear here in Surrey Sunday morning in the wake of dozens more extortion threats and violence in the city, all in the first month of the year. Some of the demonstrators here say they want the ability to protect themselves in their own homes.
When people start to lose trust on institutions, and then what happens is people start to take laws in their own hands.
Gary Purewal says he wants to see stricter laws to deal with extorters, including laws allowing people to defend themselves.
Castle law, stand on ground laws, where people can even protect themselves, which will strengthen people's fear. These are the things that we request that government to bring forward, which it can be done really fast.
He references the kinds of laws seen in the U.S. Last week, the victims of an extortion-related shooting in Surrey's Bear Creek neighborhood allegedly fired back at their attackers. Police have stressed they don't want people arming themselves to fight back.
I can get it, because in the moment, if they fear for their life or death for them in this moment they feel, they're not thinking of the consequence down the road of potentially having an armed or a loaded firearm in their home. They're thinking about trying to save themselves because they don't trust anyone else to do it.
Surrey Cloverdale MLA Eleanor Sturco says she recognizes people's confidence in the justice system and police is low. Sturco, a former police officer herself, says there are already laws allowing people to defend themselves in a limited way.
It's different from police. Police can use as much force as is necessary. The criminal code really stipulates that people should try to use as little as possible to defend themselves. Certainly keeping a loaded firearm is actually illegal in Canada. But look, I understand why people feel this way. I don't want to see people in our community here feel like they have to take the law into their own hands, and that's the problem.
Another protest is being planned for the start of next month, for even as the threats persist, the community is signaling their courage will last longer. Caribou, CBC News, Surrey.
Fear and frustration are building over a perceived lack of progress on the extortion file. Despite a dedicated task force and beefed up policing announced in the fall, extortion cases have not slowed down. In fact, they've escalated with at least 35 cases in Surrey in the first 3 weeks of 2026 alone. Now, some say bureaucratic finger-pointing has taken center stage.
So you can see where the bullet holes came through the glass, through the metal, and then right into the studio.
Ginny Sims is a Punjabi radio talk show host in Surrey. Her radio station was hit by bullets in an extortion case last fall. No one was hurt, but she says the rash of shootings has left the South Asian community paralyzed.
Then I was talking to a plumber who said he had his van wrapped with the name of his company. He goes, I just realized I'm advertising my phone number to all these people who could then give me a phone call and threaten me.
Nearly 2 months after BC launched an extortion task force, brought in federal support and boosted police funding, the problem persists. In fact, many say it's gotten worse.
So I don't feel safe. So yeah, it's just alarming what's happening.
Police are not taking any action. I don't know what they're gonna do to get these things settled down.
Since the start of 2026, Surrey has seen an average of 2 extortion cases reported per day, some of them violent. Last weekend, police say people inside a house that was targeted allegedly shot back in self-defense.
It's impossible for people to feel safe in their homes in Surrey right now. It's impossible.
Surrey's mayor is critical of the policing response so far, particularly the comments this week from the head of BC's RCMP-led extortion task force.
There's not a crisis. The police here are working hard.
His words triggering widespread backlash, including from the Premier.
I'll speak bluntly. If Mr. Brewer does not feel that urgency, does not feel that this is a crisis, then perhaps he's not the right person to head up this task force.
A day later, an apology. Still, RCMP insists progress is being made, pointing to arrests in Alberta and work with counterparts in Ontario, too.
There's no place for them to hide. We have investigative techniques we're working on right now that are making great headway as well in identifying these groups and who's controlling them.
Surrey's mayor is now calling for a national commissioner to oversee a countrywide extortion investigation. Interior Health has issued a toxic drug overdose alert for Nelson and Trail.
There is a new compound, a very potent drug that is called medetomidine, and that is what we are suspecting is included or being added into the toxic drug supply.
This particular overdose alert will remain in effect until the end of January. Some families are speaking out about faith-based hospitals that refuse to allow medical assistance in dying. In those cases, patients have to be transferred to other hospitals to receive MAID services. As our Caroline Bargut explains, some say it's caused their loved ones unnecessary suffering in their final days.
On the last day of Risha Golby's life, she was forced out of her room at St. Paul's Hospital in Vancouver. That had become her home since she'd learned she had pancreatic cancer 6 weeks earlier. The 47-year-old mother was taken by ambulance to an outpatient facility and placed on a lazy boy recliner where her family said their final goodbyes. Moments later, she received medical assistance in dying and was gone.
And I remember just feeling devastated at the loss of my sister, but more than that, feeling confused and shocked that her last hours were allowed to go ahead like that.
St. Paul's is a Catholic hospital and does not allow MAID to be performed on its premises. Providence Health, which runs the facility, says it has a long-standing moral tradition of compassionate care that neither prolongs dying nor hastens it. The number of hospital beds controlled by faith-based facilities continues to grow across the country. Dying with Dignity Canada says there are more than 100 hospitals with about 13,000 beds. Alberta is currently in the process of acquiring 700 more Catholic beds in Edmonton.
A lot of cities, the faith-based hospital is the only game in town.
The organization is involved in a lawsuit in BC to change government policy so people can receive MAID at whatever hospital they may be in. Helen McCaffrey hopes they win.
It's cruel.
Her husband Jim was forced out of the Elizabeth Briere Hospital in Ottawa he had been in for 4 months in order to receive MAID. The ambulance was 2 hours late, and when they finally took the 87-year-old man to another facility, he was placed in an office to die. The ordeal was so traumatic that his wife says she needed therapy for 2 years to deal with the guilt.
And I'm sorry that it was so sad for him, that he should be treated really like a piece of garbage.
Briere Health says it's sorry to hear about what the McCaffreys went through. A spokesperson said it's not reflective of the experience we would want for anyone we care for. Families say they understand if individual doctors or nurses don't want to perform MAID, but they say publicly funded hospitals should not have more rights than patients. Caroline Bargut, CBC News, Vancouver.
Officials in Queensland, Australia have ordered a pack of dingoes to be euthanized. The decision follows the death of 19-year-old Piper James from Campbell River on a beach there. A coroner's report suggests James drowned, but her body showed dingo bite marks both before and after her death. Authorities say the wild dogs pose an unacceptable public safety risk, adding they will be killed humanely. A group of volunteers near Nikusp spent the weekend harvesting lichen for pregnant caribou.
We capture them every year and bring them into the pen, and they finish out the late stages of their pregnancy in the pen and give birth to calves, and then we kind of monitor them and things like that over that period, and then about 6 weeks after all the calves are born and they've grown a bit bigger, then we release them.
The Arrow Lakes Caribou Society says it needs 200 kilograms of lichen to feed about a dozen pregnant caribous that it houses in maternity pens from March to July. They say sheltering the calves keeps them safe and gives them a better shot at surviving predators. Is accessible seating at concerts and sporting events truly accessible for those who need it? Well, a BC man who uses a wheelchair doesn't think so. Erica Johnson of CBC's Go Public team went to have a look at who's actually sitting in those seats.
How often is it sold out?
More and more often.
For Bob Cost, trying to buy accessible seating tickets for a hockey game at Vancouver's Rogers Arena is often frustrating. His son Michael suffered a severe brain injury after a car accident 20 years ago. He says an occasional hockey game or concert would bring joy.
I like to enjoy the small, simple things like a hockey game.
Problem is, they say, Ticketmaster uses an honor system online, so anyone willing to fib can buy tickets to accessible seating. Designed for people to maneuver mobility devices, there's plenty of legroom and chairs that friends and attendants can pull up. But Bob says sometimes people sit there who shouldn't, like two men he overheard at a hockey game he did manage to get tickets to.
They were bragging about being able to buy these tickets even though they had no disability. I was so frustrated to hear those comments.
He acknowledges some people may have invisible disabilities or be accompanying someone. That may have been the case when we attended a concert and saw only 2 wheelchairs out of 30 seats, most people walking in and out, some dancing.
And we have to show this.
Bob points out you need a disability pass for parking. He says similarly, Rogers Arena should require people to prove they need those seats.
Why can they not introduce some sort of a system?
In the UK, thousands of venues and events do use a verification system. But the owners of Rogers Arena said the venue respects fans' privacy and some disabilities may be invisible.
It sounds like they're trying to use disability inclusion language against people with disabilities in order to defend their complete inaction.
Legally, he says, venues that want to ensure accessibility can ask fans to provide proof, but can't ask for details. Ticketmaster also says it wants to preserve fans' privacy.
Ticketmaster abides by that verification system in the UK, but told Go Public in Canada it would be too difficult to implement. Erica Johnson, CBC News, Vancouver.
Still ahead, Donald Trump's latest tariff threat involving Canada's deal with China looms over Ottawa, with Parliament set to resume tomorrow. We'll have more on that next. Welcome back. A 100% tariff threat, a reference to Governor Carney, and a claim that Canada is systematically destroying itself. They were all part of a flurry of Donald Trump's social media posts this weekend, taking aim once more at Canada. The CBC's JP Tasker with more on how Ottawa is responding.
MPs are back on Parliament Hill, and looming over the legislative agenda is U.S. President Donald Trump's latest trade threat. This time threatening a huge tariff on Canadian goods if Ottawa signs a trade deal with China.
We can't let Canada become an opening that the Chinese pour their cheap goods into the U.S. There's possibility of 100% tariffs if they do a free trade deal.
Something Carney says is not on the table.
We have no intention of doing that with China or any other non-market economy. What we've done with China is to rectify some issues that developed in the last couple of years.
In exchange for tariff relief on Canadian farm products like canola, Carney agreed to lift levies on a set number of Chinese EVs. Earlier this month, Trump seemed unfazed.
It's a good thing for him to sign a trade deal. If you can get a deal with China, you should do that.
But on Sunday, there was an about-face as he unleashed on social media, saying Canada is systematically destroying itself. The China deal is a disaster for them, will go down as one of the worst deals of any kind in history. Just last spring, the two leaders appeared to have developed a rapport.
I think Canada chose a very talented person, a very good person.
But after Carney delivered that well-received speech in Davos, Trump poked at the Prime Minister, calling him Governor Carney, like he did with Justin Trudeau.
We have to keep the focus on protecting Canadians, protecting our communities, protecting our borders, protecting our way of life.
The government says it's preparing a flurry of new legislation to do just that.
We will have a very aggressive series of introductions of bills over the course of this session.
And in a shift from the last sitting, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre signaled cooperation in a letter to Carney. I am writing to offer help to turn rhetoric into reality, as the party claims the government has been all talk, no action.
It's all well and good to say those kinds of things in front of a crowd like at Davos. What really matters is Canadians not being able to afford groceries.
That was the CBC's JP Tasker in Ottawa. Large swaths of Canada are in the grips of severe winter weather tonight with dangerously cold and snowy conditions. The CBC's Jennifer Yoon takes a look.
Canada's biggest city, now just one big mess. Snowfall so heavy and constant, plows struggled to keep up. Some even crashing into a hydro pole, a gas line, or a tractor trailer.
Take it easy out there today. I have to go to work or I wouldn't be doing this.
White out conditions on the roads. At least 100 collisions in the Toronto area, another 100 calls to police for cars stuck in ditches and snowbanks.
We've had multiple jackknife tractor trailers, some commercial vehicles involved in crashes.
Is cancelled.
At Toronto's Pearson Airport, hundreds of flights cancelled, stranding travelers even as crews scramble to clear ramps and runways.
I can't go back to Muskoka right now, so I have to find a hotel nearby.
It's not just the snow and ice. As temperatures plummet across the country, officials are warning people to stay home. But that's impossible for some.
We lost power yesterday at about 10:20.
A power outage, cutting off heat for thousands of Montrealers, forcing them to find refuge at a community centre.
I've been in the centre since about 9 this morning, and I'm just waiting for power to go back to normal.
The weather is also straining the power grid in Newfoundland, where the island's largest hydro station is slowly restarting after icy conditions shut it down.
We are not out of the woods. We're going to take it slowly and steadily, but we're hopeful if things hold as they are, we'll be in a better position and be able to make a better determination on how tomorrow will look.
The prairies are being hit by brutal cold. In Winnipeg, where it felt like -41 with the wind chill, those without a home had a hard time finding shelter.
We need more warm spaces, man.
Some settling for a bus shelter.
That keeps the wind away.
Got a bag. It's got like all sorts of...
Frontline workers out on the streets, passing out warm clothes to those looking to escape the cold.
Oh, it's cold enough for us, and we're out for, just a couple hours. Can you imagine being what it's like
being out here full-time 24 hours.
Winnipeg's mayor has said that he's willing to open more city spaces for those without a home. The extreme cold there is expected to let up a bit on Monday. Here in Toronto, the snow is forecast to continue falling through the early morning, with as much as 60 centimeters expected by the end of the storm. The cleanup is expected to take days, with most schools in Toronto being closed on Monday. The storm system is still moving out east, with some cities like Montreal and Ottawa and Halifax and Fredericton under a snowfall warning. Jennifer Yoon, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, this was the sunrise this morning on Grouse Mountain. Certainly a more pleasant sight than what they're seeing out east. Chilly but sunny again today here in BC. But how many more of those blue sky days will we get? We'll find out with the full forecast coming up next. Well, let's check the weather. Unlike the rest of the country, pretty quiet on the weather front across BC. We still got that ridge of high pressure bringing us those blue skies, sunny conditions that we've actually gotten quite used to, but that will begin to change Probably not until midweek, though. So you can see Monday through Tuesdays, clear conditions, and then Wednesday, that next system comes kind of across the coast. That'll bring the rain back with it across most of the north to the south coast. We'll see what that does inland, but the temperatures will warm up as well. Here's tomorrow's daytime highs across the province. You can see pretty seasonal, not too cold anywhere, really. Again, unlike Alberta, the prairies east, all the way out to eastern Canada, Atlantic provinces, they're all getting hammered with a very cold, very snowy system down through the states as well, but we are being spared for the moment. And let's check the forecast for Metro Vancouver, as we'll see a mix of sun and cloud for Monday and Tuesday. You can see we'll warm up and get more precipitation midweek, and that will continue likely right through until the weekend. Our daytime highs, though, much warmer than seasonal. And that is your late news for this Sunday, January 25th. For news anytime, anywhere, download the free CBC News app. You can always find us online as well. Our website is cbc.ca/BC. Thank you so much for watching this weekend. Good night.